We're going to start in just easy seated pose. And taking this moment to tune in. And as we talk about, or as I talk about, the body, you may have already begun to note things like, oh, yeah, this pain I have, or, oh, that sounds like me, or that relates. And so you start to kind of tune into the past, right? Or all the moments of your experience and of what's happened with your body that have brought you here. And as you find your seat, is allow yourself to rest into that and to rest into this feeling of arriving. There's been all these moments, this culmination of moments, of years that have brought you here. And appreciating the gift of that, the gift that we're here with experience, hopefully wisdom, and gaining that. And we'll take a few clearing breaths. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth audibly. Breathing in, filling up. Exhaling, empty out. Another big breath in, largest breath of your day, really filling up. Exhale. And again, breathe in through the nose, close the mouth, strong breath out through the nostrils. And twice more this way. And continuing to breathe. These full breaths, this ocean breath or Ujjayi breathing. Where you're drawing the breath through the back of the nose, through the throat, creating a slight constriction. Exhaling fully, like you're fogging a piece of glass in front of the face, the belly pulls in. I'm trying to find a balance here between the focus or the effort of this breath and a sensation of ease, right? Where we're filling up, but not to the point of feeling like we're bursting with our breath. Focusing more on our exhalation. Emptying the lungs a bit past where we might normally stop. Noting the emptiness, taking a slow and gentle beginning of that inhale breath as we continue to expand our lung capacity. This more pressured breathing. Taking 3 full cycles of breath here. And bringing your hands to heart center, breathe in, lifting the heart to the hands. Exhale, bowing the head to the heart. And focusing in for this hour. Breathe in, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands down in front. Tuck the chin, feel the space through the back of your neck. Bend your elbows, sink closer to the floor, breathe out again. Start to unwind, sit yourself back up. Breathe out. Breathe in, sweep your arms wide, reach up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm stays up, side bend up and over, lengthen. One breath here, breathing in. Reach, settle in, exhale. Breathe in through center, reach up. Switching out, right hand down, left arm up and over. Lift the heart up, breathe in, pause here. Exhale, settle the waist. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, fold forward again. Hands down, tuck the chin. Round forward. Bend your elbows, sink down. Breathe in, breathe out. Sit yourself back up. And left foot to the side. So you're going to bring your left foot to your mat. Knee points to the air. Left hand on the inside of your left foot. And you can bring a pillow underneath. You have a pillow underneath me now, or just settle your hips down to the mat. You can have your fingertips down. Your palm doesn't need to be touching. And then lift through your chest. Breathe in. Exhale, settle in. Right arm up and over. Inhale. Settle here. Exhale. So we're taking this side bend now and getting into the left hip. You can pause right where you are. You can always reach down and bind the toe with the peace fingers, pulling slightly more towards the side. Lean a bit back. Feel your weight settle into your sit bones. Lift your heart up. Inhale. Settle in. Exhale. Once more. Breathe in. Exhale, slowly empty to the bottom of the breath, really focusing on emptying the lungs completely. Good. Releasing. Come through center. Breathe in, arms up. Cross your legs, hands to heart center. And switching it out. So bringing the right foot out to the side now. Connect the foot to the floor. Hand down on the inside of your leg. Just using that right arm to gently press or resist into the right thigh. And then drop your sit bones down or settle into your hips as you breathe in, reaching the left arm up and over. So trying to find length through both sides of your torso while settling your hips. Starting to feel this movement of your legs. So trying to keep this generally neutral spine right through the low back while reaching up and over in this lateral stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe binding onto the toe. Lean back an inch or two, letting your shoulders stack over your hips. One more in breath. Same thing, empty to the bottom of the breath. Focus on that exhale, lengthening it out. And releasing the toe, breathe in, both arms up. Good, cross-legged pose, hands to heart center. We'll settle back, so I'm going to remove the pillow and turn to face the top of the mat. And then legs forward in front of you. Just extend your legs long and straight. Press the back of your knees down to your mat. Flex the feet, toes pull to your face. Breathe in, reach your arms up. Exhale and twist towards your right. Arms come to parallel. And try to keep a straight line through your arms. So this means I'm not focused on necessarily turning my torso all the way to the right side, but rather finding this connection between my shoulder blades. So like I'm holding a broomstick behind my back and both arms are holding onto both sides of the broom. So straight line from one wrist to the other. Then pulling the belly in, trying to keep my heels in one line, and rotating through the core. Drawing the gaze back, looking over the right thumb, breathe in, breathe out. Arms reach up to the sky, twisting towards the left, straight line from one arm through the other. And the heels aren't shifting, so I know my hips aren't shifting, just rotating through the midline or from the belly up. Looking over the left hand, trying to keep the heart lifting, low belly engaged, looking back. Noticing any sensation, any tension in the shoulders as I hug the shoulder blades towards one another. And breathe in, reach your arms back up. Forward fold, breathe out. So hands come down towards the feet or land anywhere on the legs, on the shins, maybe all the way to the toes. Wherever you land, grip on, whether that's your legs or your feet. Pull the shoulders back, press the heart forward. Focus on hinging or flattening your back rather than rounding forward. Tuck your low belly towards your hip creases and try to send your pubic bone down and back. It's helping that hinging at your hips. Trying to keep your spine straight as you hug your shoulders down and pull your chin in towards your throat. Or pull the front of your throat towards the back of your throat would be another way to find that sensation. So you're long and lifting through the back of your neck, lifting through the occipital ridge. And maybe you can hinge forward more, starting to bend your elbows, bringing yourself down a little further. Maybe elbows touch all the way to the shins. And then begin to sit yourself back up. So release the pose and we'll roll down. Squeeze the legs together, arms in front of you. Pull your low belly in and start to roll back one vertebrae at a time. So legs are anchored. Your feet may pop up, no big deal. Look forward between your toes. Keep pulling your low belly in. Slowly rolling all the way down. And then bending your knees. Feet to the floor. Bridge pose. Heels walk into the buttocks. Hands down to your sides. Palms press down. And then root your shoulders. So rock the shoulder blades towards one another. Press down through your upper arms and your elbows to help engage your upper back, and then root into your heels to lift your hips. And so in bridge, we can find some stability through the pelvis. So starting to stabilize the sacrum, which can feel really good if we find the engagement that works best for us. So sometimes if we over squeeze the glutes, we're going to create more tension in that low back area. So see if you can ground into your big toes and the balls of your feet and feel that inner thigh line engage and support the groin. And now tuck your tailbone slightly under and see if you can feel your hamstrings engage as you pull your heels towards your shoulders. So trying to get the legs as strong as possible. And then can you soften right around your tailbone, around your coccyx? So the glutes are still engaged, but we're sort of not over clenching the glutes, right? So as not to agitate that low back space. And then as you draw your pubic bone up a little higher, focus back in on your breath and notice, can you hold the pose and find any softness through your waist and through your low back? Lengthen forward through your knees and keep squeezing your shoulders and your heels towards one another. Breathe in, lift your hips a little higher, and then slow roll down. Really articulate the spine here as you roll just the upper back and then just the middle back, and then the lower back before the hips, and the hips settle back to your mat. Heel toe your feet to touch, so feet together, thighs together, and then right leg over the left, right leg over the left. So now widening across that low back zone, or rather closing the front of the hips and opening the back of the pelvis. So you're creating more space between the two sacroiliac joints. right? So you're opening and widening the back of your hips as you settle your hips down into the mat. And you're squeezing your inner thighs actively together. So inner thighs squeeze, waist relaxes, and we're just pausing here, trying to engage through the inner thighs as much as possible, squeezing the legs together. So for some of you, this might be quite easy, or it might feel like you're not doing a ton of work here. Doesn't mean nothing's happening. And for some of you, it might be harder to actually close your legs. And so that's something to work on, right? And can you keep the engagement through your legs and completely relax around your spine? And how can we relax more? Well, we can breathe and we can expand the belly with the breath and feel how the low back moves as well with that expansion through the core. Good. So right leg is on top. Take one more breath here. Relax in. And then we're going to unwind the right leg from the left, bring the right foot to the floor, draw the left knee into the chest, interlace the hands across the left knee or shin or behind the left knee. So if you have any tension in the left knee or previous injury, you might grab behind the joint, or you can close that joint up, seal it, get a little compression through both joints, the knee and in your hip socket. And then try to settle your tailbone down. So notice the space here as you pull the left knee in between the left sit bone and the right sit bone, right? So we want to keep both sit bones pointing forward. And even though we're creating some space around the tailbone, especially on the left side, we don't want the left sit bone swaying weight out or the left hip swaying way out, right? Which is going to bring the pelvis out of alignment. So we're pulling the left knee in as we stretch. We're thinking connection between the sit bones. And then draw the right leg in or the right knee in, kick the right heel up to the sky. So straight right leg. Breathe in. Exhale, pull your low belly in. Breathe in again. Exhale, pull the low belly in tighter. Start to lower your right leg towards the mat. Slow and controlled, right leg lowering. And right leg relaxes all the way down to the mat. Draw your left knee in a little bit more. Notice if that left sit bone starts to sway out, hug it towards the right inner thigh. One more breath here. And releasing your left knee, left foot to the earth. And then bend the right knee again. So both feet down. Heel toe the feet to touch, knees to touch. Left leg up and over the right, eliminating space between the thighs. Good, checking in with that space around your tail or between your sit bones now. As you squeeze the thighs together, you'll feel there's now more space, so the sit bones are separating and widening apart. We're squeezing through the front side, through the legs as we widen through the back side, and then relax the waist. So as you squeeze your legs, you might start to notice some tension radiate up towards your mid back. And can you really soften that and let your spine totally relax as the legs internally rotate? I'm taking 2 breaths here. And letting your low back drop closer to the floor as you breathe in and out. Keep squeezing your legs together. One more breath here. And then unwinding left leg from right, left foot plants down, right knee draws into your chest, interlace your hands across the right shin. Remembering you can always interlace behind the knee. And as you pull in, just noticing that tracking of your right hip. So lengthening your right hip crease forward. Right hip crease forward, like you're pointing that right hip crease directly at the short edge or front of your mat, and lengthening that right sit bone forward while keeping it hugged to the center line. So thinking of not swaying it in or out, but tracking forward as you compress through that right hip flexors. Hug your shoulder blades back to the mat. Think the back of your neck is long. Breathing in, breathing out. Left knee pulls into your chest. Kick the left heel up towards the sky. Pull your low belly in. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, low belly pulls in a little tighter as your left leg lengthens down or lowers down to the mat. Left leg long and lowered to the mat. Relax that left leg. Pull your right knee in. Notice any movement through your pelvis. How's that feel? Keep the right hip crease, right sit bone tracking forward. Hug your shoulder blades back. One breath here, breathing in. Breathing out. Last inhale. Exhale. Releasing your right knee. Good, bend both knees, feet to the floor. Heel to your feet wide as your mat. Windshield wiper knees side to side, loosening your low back here. So it's creating some space and some lubrication through the spine as you rock your knees left and right, finding that gentle twist. And then pulling knees in towards your chest. Grab behind your knees, rock and roll, massaging the length of your spine. Massaging left side, right side, and then coming forward, and we'll come to tabletop. So rock yourself forward to hands and knees. Let's set up for down dog. So knees directly underneath your hips. Hands at least as broad as your shoulders so that your armpit or your inner shoulder line would land on the inside of your wrist. So hands just slightly broader or wider than you might think. And then fingertips wide, press down through that first set of knuckles in your hands and notice how the center of the palms is still light. Draw your low belly in, tuck your toes, and slowly start to lift your hips up and back. Keep some bend through your knees so you can feel the hinge and start to press your chest towards your thighs. So you feel this opening across your back and across your glutes. And you're focusing on this hinge sensation from your hips to your spine. Then support your back, pull your lower ribs in. And you start to feel how your mid-back rises. And tuck your belly towards your pubic bone. Relax your neck. Let your shoulders soften. A little bend through your elbows, and then start to straighten out your legs. And then start to walk your feet forward towards your hands, coming towards the top of your mat. Forward fold, feet hip width distance, bend the knees enough to bring your belly close to your thighs. Let's grab for opposite elbows here and take a little sway side to side. Now you can either keep the hang, so reaching on opposite elbows, or just let your hands hang toward the earth. And then bend your knees, chair pose, guide your arms up towards the sky. So working on our hinge, take your hands towards the tops of your thighs. Bend your knees and sit your hips back. So what I'm finding here is that I'm trying to relax the lowest waist and low back, and I'm pressing the heels of the hands into the tops of the legs, like I'm trying to separate the femur bones from the hips. So I'm actively using the hands and the arms. I'm pressing down, and then I'm trying to feel this openness around the sit bone, around the base of the spine. It's like my hips are suspending in space. My legs are active. I'm pressing into the feet, pressing into the hands, and trying to relax the low waist and the tail. And then I'm going to slide the hands down towards the knees and basically find that same thing. I'm pressing the heels of the hands into the tops of the thighs or into the knees, rather the bottom of the thighs, I suppose. And I'm sitting back like I'm sitting into a chair, but I'm really trying to relax the low waist. Creating some space. I was like I was suspending my hips from my spine. And then we're going to take the hands towards the front of the shins. So now we're in half lift. I'm trying to find that same sensation of the hips dropping down, the low waist relaxing. But I'm going to tilt some weight forward into my toes now, coming out of my heels. Pull the shoulder blades back. And a little drop of the sit bone again, of the tail as well. And I'm going to hinge forward a little bit more, sliding the hands down towards the ankles. Keep a bend through your knees, belly towards your thighs. And I'm feeling my mid back engage, trying to relax my low back, my sit bones down. And then I'm going to take my hands towards the floor. I'm keeping where I'm at. That works as well. You can stop anywhere along this progression. I'll let the head hang. So I'm lengthening through my spine as I let the weight of gravity take hold of my head and my upper back. But I want to support my low back by lifting through my hamstrings and through my glutes. So I'm going to tap in to the top of the hamstrings and the sit bones. I'm going to try to actively use my buttocks to lift the sit bones up. And I'm going to tuck my lowest belly towards my hip creases or crunch my lower floating ribs and my abs towards my pubic bone. I'm just noticing as I lift the backside that support towards the low back, so that we're not over stretching, right, the sacrum, but we're also lifting the glutes to help open the top of the hamstrings. So we're getting the stretch through the top of the hamstrings and the back, right, not just one or the other. Now let's rock the weight into our heels and slowly stand up. So really slowly, we're going to unwind the spine, one vertebrae at a time, naturally unwinding all the way up to the top, and just settle for a moment. Check in. Take a few deep breaths. Focus your eye gaze somewhere in the room or outside. We'll take a slow breath in, circling the arms wide, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step your left foot back. So we're going to step the left foot back and take a short warrior one stance. Back foot's at a 45, bend into the front knee. So we've got 3 or 4 feet of space between our feet, the length, and the width is about hip width distance. And so as I find this short warrior one, I'm going to anchor down into my feet, press down through the left foot, press down through the right foot. Feeling that activation through the legs. Breathe in, reach your arms up. Find a little back bend here. So lift up through the heart, bend your elbows, cactus your arms, fingertips wide, heart lifting. And then breathe in again, reach your arms high. Right arm under left, crossing at elbows, maybe wrists. Coming into our eagle wrap with our arms, right arm is under the left, and we're squeezing the forearms towards one another, tucking the chin in and pulling the throat back. Relaxing the shoulders enough that they can drop down so that they're not lifting towards the ears so much. And then draw in that low belly space again, press into your back foot. Feeling that stretch through the shoulders. Try tucking your chin. Just note if you find any added stretch there. Take a breath. Then lift your chin back to neutral and drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Take a full cycle of breath there. Keep pressing into your feet. Lift your head back through center and then right ear to right shoulder. Full breath there. Lift your head back to center. Unwind your arms, breathe in, reach them up. Hands to heart center, breathe out. Lower your hands down to your hips. And you're going to open your hips to 45-degree angle. So hips are going to slightly open towards the left. So you're between warrior one, where your hips are forward, and warrior two, where your hips are open towards or wide towards the left. So we're going to come to a 45, hips open to the top left corner of the room or of your mat. And we're going to bend both knees. So back knee is softly bent, right? A little bit more than you might be used to. And then squeeze the heels really firmly towards one another, like you're going to scrunch up your mat. As you do that, align your spine, tuck your tail so that it points straight at the floor. Pull your low belly in, bring your shoulders to stack right over your hips. Might feel like leaning back a little bit. Keep squeezing the feet together and now press out to the outer edges of your feet at the same time as you pull your heels in. We're just resetting the pelvis. We're resetting the alignment of our legs within our hip sockets. Now note where your right knee points. Keep it pointing for the right middle toe. And then back off that engagement. So stop the squeeze. And let's try that one more time. Bend the knees. Keep that right knee wide. Squeeze the heels together. Press to the outer edges of your feet. Draw your tailbone down. Shoulders over your hips. Good. Beautiful job. Pivot yourself or turn yourself forward to the top of the mat. Spike your back heel. Take your arms wide. Warrior three. Shift your weight forward. Lift your left leg up. You can straighten out the front leg and lift the back leg higher as you hinge forward. Right hand to your right hip. Left hand towards the floor. Start to rotate your chest towards the right. Half moon. Revolved half moon, rather. Maybe that right arm reaches up. Maybe you use the left hand down on the mat for support as you twist towards the right, or you can always stay way more upright, just working on your balance, extending that left leg long, taking the right arm back. I shouldn't say just, that's just very hard. Working on your balance more upright, yes. Let's step the feet together, hands to heart center. Big breath in, circle your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in, round in. Plant your hands, step your feet back, down dog. Settle in, exhale. Inhale, high plank, shift forward. Pause here, fire up every muscle in your body. Squeeze your buttocks so that your hips drop down in line with your spine. Pull your armpits towards one another. Bend your elbows, slow lower all the way down to your belly. Squeeze your legs together, lift your legs up, lift your heart up. Whole body's lifting from the mat. Now press your belly down, pubic bone down. Find that space between the crown of your head and your toes. Pull your chin in towards the throat, press through your crown, draw your shoulders back. Keep rooting or anchoring through your belly, through your core. Press it into the floor. Can you press more of your belly to the floor? Now lift your chest, lift your legs a little higher. Take your last inhale here. Exhale and slowly lower with control down to the mat. Tuck your toes, push up, plank. Down dog, up and back. Settling into your down dog for 3 breaths. Hands wide, pubic bone pressing through the thighs, lower floating ribs pulling in, neck relaxes, shoulders drop down the back, heels sink to the earth. Looking forward between your hands, bend your knees, step forward, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, round in. Bend your knees deeply, arms up, chair pose, Utkatasana. In this version, let's bring the feet together. Feet together, big toes touching, internal rotation through the hips. Arms sweep up. Accentuating, resetting this natural curve of the spine. Try to anchor your tail right over your heels. And then as you find the base of your spine right over your heels, see if you can drop the weight into your heels. It's an internal feeling of finding this weight root down into your heels, and you feel that heat start to build in your legs. And focusing back to your breath. Breathe in, stand all the way up. Hands to heart center, breathe out. Bring your feet to hip width distance and step the right foot back. Short warrior 1 stance. So back foot's at 45 or about there, anyways. A short stance, bending your left knee over that left heel, left ankle, and sealing the outside edge of your right foot to the mat. And breathe in, reach your arms up. Little back bend, bending your elbows. Practicing your arms lift through your heart, and then press your hips forward, like you're pushing your pubic bone to your left knee. Good. And then breathe in, reach your arms back up. Left arm under right. Eagle wrap. So pressing your elbows, then your wrists. Try to keep your wrists straight. So if you need to, just back of the hands pressed together. Pull your elbows in towards your body enough that you feel your shoulder blades relax down. And squeeze your forearms together and slightly forward. Keep that right shoulder relaxing and dropping. Press down into your back foot again. Firm your back leg. Try to square your hips and your shoulders forward. Breathe in, exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Take a breath here. Stretching through your shoulders. Inhale, lift your chin back to neutral. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Breathe in here. Exhale again. Lift your head through center and right ear, right shoulder, other side. Full breath in. Keep wrapping your arms, pressing into your feet. Lift your chin back through center. Unwind your arms, breathe in, sweep the arms up. Hands to heart center, breathe out. Hands down to your hips and start to open your hips towards that 45 or towards the top right corner of the mat or of the room. Bend into both knees. I'm just noticing how this feels different on this side. Like this side feels way different already for me here. Working with our hips, keeping that left knee pointed at the left middle toe. And then start to squeeze the heels actively towards one another, like really strongly. As strong as you can without moving your feet. And then look at your shoulders, get them back over your hips, maybe lean back a little bit. You might need to tuck the tail so that your tailbone points down, you're flat through the front of your belly, you're not in a back bend, right? And then press the outer edges of your feet at the same time as you squeeze your heels together. Keep your chest lifted, your gaze forward. Feel that movement in your pelvis and your legs within the hip sockets. Let's back it off a little. Release the squeeze. And try it one more time. So rebend your knees. Get that left knee wide in line with your middle toe. Draw your tailbone under, pull your belly in, shoulders right over your hips, squeeze in, and press out. A lot of times I get a pop of the hip on this side of the left hip. Good, release. And then turn or pivot your body forward, back heel spikes, arms come wide, shift your weight forward and lift your right leg up. Warrior 3. You can always have a bend in the front knee if that feels more stable, keeping your hips squared at the mat. Or you can begin to hinge forward more, straightening out both legs. Keep pulling your belly in. Left hand to your left hip, right hand towards the floor. Start to rotate your chest towards the right, or towards the left, excuse me. You can always take that right hand down as you twist. You can reach your left arm up, or you can be very upright and work on your balance, right, and your core stability. And stepping your feet to the top of your mat. Breathe in, circle your arms wide, reach up. Hands to heart center, breathe out. Inhale, arms up again. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees, belly towards your thighs, head hangs. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, round in. Plant your hands, step your feet back, down dog. 3 breaths. And gently start to lower your knees. And we'll come to child's pose with the legs together. So bring your knees together, feet together. Start to sit your hips back towards your heels. Now, if this is uncomfortable, maybe belly, right, needs a little bit more space, or just feels better to separate your knees a bit, you can separate your knees as well, but try to avoid bringing your knees super wide for this variation. So just keeping the legs closer together as you lie down onto your own thighs. And if you feel your weight tilt forward a lot, like I'm showing here, then I want you to not bring your head down for now and to just stay on your forearms. So you can help with your forearms. You can press into your mat with your forearms to help anchor your hips back towards your heels. Or maybe you can just relax through your neck a little and let your head hang, or you can bring a pillow underneath your head. I want to give time for this space to be created in the lower vertebrae of the spine. And when the legs are together or close together, right, then we have this pressure from the front side supporting the organs, which press back towards the spine. Just creating some subtle space between each vertebrae. Child's pose. And of course, your arms can reach forward if you want to lengthen through your lats, through the side body. Move in front of your armpits. Or you can let your head relax and reach back for your feet and your heels. And that one's really nice to create some space between the shoulder blades to stretch that trapezius muscle, which connects kind of right below your shoulder blades and your mid-spine. Big triangle across your upper back. And to open that space, so maybe you're reaching back, Christy, towards your heels now. And just letting your shoulder heads drop down and trying to really breathe here wherever you are in your back body. Getting bigger with your breath. Let's take 3 or 4 breaths here. And then reach your arms forward in front of you, looking forward. And just slide your hands forward as much as you can while staying in your pose. And then begin to lift your hips up and walk your fingertips forward, coming into melting heart. Now hips are right above your knees, or they might be slightly behind your knees. And your forearms are parallel to the sides of the mat, but you're going to take your forearms wider so the elbows are a little bit bent. And then head down, chest sinks down. Use your abs here. Pull your belly button towards your pubic bone. And let your heart and your chest sink down. And then press down into your elbows or your forearms with like 20% of your available effort. And then slowly bring your elbows more underneath your shoulders. Lengthen your legs back and lower all the way down to your belly. Take your hands and stack your hands, elbows wide, forehead down onto your hands. And bend your knees, heels towards the sky. Separate your knees a little bit wider, and then just rock your heels side to side. Both heels going right and left. And let your hips move naturally, one side to the other. And extend your legs long, so now your feet are wider. And let your hips get really heavy and your pubic bone relax down. You can stay right here, or you can roll onto your back. Laying into your Serasana. And it's allowing time for all these changes to absorb, your body to reset. I'm going to take a few breaths here, lengthening out the exhale again. So you'll breathe in for 4, exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Inhale. 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Slow breath in and out. Feeling your legs get heavy. The rise and fall of your belly with your breath. Relaxing your shoulders back. Relaxing your jaw. Wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingertips. And then bending one knee and the other, bring your feet a little wider than your hips. Maybe walking the feet forward just a few inches so that your legs can rest in constructive rest. So bent knees, the heels are a little farther than they would be if you're coming into bridge, so sort of away from your body a bit. And they're wider than your hips. And just letting your hips relax down. Not sure what the hammer is about. Sorry about that. And then gently rolling onto your side body. Bend your knees, roll to one side or the other. Take a deep breath. And begin to press your way up towards the seat. And just finding your easy seated pose. And bringing your hands to heart center. Breathe in, lifting your heart up. Exhale, bowing your head towards your heart space. And appreciating this hour where we turn in to ourselves and listen in, where we learn, where we transform. Thank you all for joining me in practice today. Thank you. Namaste.